Thank you very much, Kristen. It was nice to listen a different perspective from a different place. And now I think I'm going to be changing a bit radically the subject, because we have a second person who is going to intervene today. I'm very happy to invite Martine Carette to join me here, please. She is the director of SUDES, the Center for Continuing Education at the University of Lille 1. And do you want to, yes, go around? And I wonder if we can talk about what is the way in which mobility for validation of prior learning is actually tackled in France, which I think is very, very different perspective from what we've heard and what VIRQUAL has been doing. So I would like you to explain, because we need to have different vision of things. Martine.
So the mobility in validation of experience. In France, we have a very short experience of that, because in fact, people who don't come for mobility, but they come to have a diploma or something like that to be recognized in their job, in their factory, not to go outside now. But we try to experiment some things about what we call accompagnement, the guidance, distance guidance, and so on in French university. So we experiment guidance with what we call référentiel. I don't know exactly the word. Standards. And we try to describe our diploma in standards and put on computers, and people say yes, no, I have this competence, I have not this competence, exactly. But the problem was, if we make too little standards, we can't never do any validation. No, and at CITSAM, anybody has got every competencies on work as we expect our students have anyway. So we have to stop that experience and to try to describe our diploma in largest area and largest competencies, because we knew that with one diploma you can have about 20 different jobs, and we didn't want to choose one job, but we have to examine the 20 jobs our students have and to compare that with people who are working. So now we have some standards which are very large, and with us we can be transferred from one university to another university. What I think that's our experience, and which help us. We have in France a book which is called Répertoire National de la Certification Professionnelle. It's a book in which all the qualifications in France are described, and are described in the same way, but it's quite large because you have only a sheet to describe that. And that book helped us very much because it was enough large to process. So and to we could with that do validation in more and more and more. And our portfolio now is links to that, and we want people to explain us, they have their competencies in a large field. That's why, that's our experience anyway, but we start with narrow things, and now we are on large standards.
Thank you very much. Is that happening in all France? It's not in Lille?
No, I think all French university has not done the same at the same speed. As I always say, because I was the leader of the French network in validation, we do what you can in our university. We could not do the same thing in Lille than in Brest, than in Marseille. So everybody did something, and at the first time when the law come, well, we had the law before, and it was not a very good law. We could give credit except for whole diploma, except one credit before, 10 years before. And this law did not work at all because we were linked to the subject, to the discipline, yeah. And we have a new law in 2002, and we tried to do the same thing in France, but we could not. We could not. So everybody experiments something, and with this in his university, and we try to have the same philosophy, and we work a lot about the definition, the definition of the word we use. I think that's more important than anything. Yeah, to have the same words behind the portfolio. But now we can see that the portfolio, the French portfolio is not the same as the English portfolio, it's not the same as the Scottish portfolio, and that's what we work a lot, and to have the same philosophy, to have the same thing. And now mobility can be done between each university, and if the people is not in the good university, we transfer him in another university. We know everybody, know each other quite well. We work for 10 years together, and I think that's what we succeed.
How many universities there are in France now?
88, I think, something like that. Something like that.
Yes, Guy?
Something like that. A bit more than 80. But now the university are together, so...
They're merging?
Yeah.
Some of them?
Yes. So we will be on, I think, 50, something like that soon.
I don't know if there is anybody who has questions for Martine or who has any comments, because really what she explains is very different. Do you have a question? No? Yes? So, shall I bring it to you? But it's streaming, you see, and nobody will hear. So I'll bring it.
So this is different, very different from VIRQUAL, because VIRQUAL is dealing more with formal learning. So it's more the recognition of formal learning and having tools and to recognize courses taken in different countries, in other countries. However, I think some of the tools that are used in VIRQUAL could be used for the recognition of prior learning. But do you have any suggestions how this could be achieved, or at least I don't know if I don't know if, for instance, if it's me. I have this magnetic field. But what I was saying is, if, for instance, online assessments can be used for the validation of recognition of prior learning. If, for instance, somebody that wants to have his prior learning validated, maybe using assessment of learning to have it validated. I don't know if I was clear. Was it?
Not so much. Who wants to answer?
I don't understand very well the question. That's my problem. Yeah. I have my French colleague, which is English teacher, but
so maybe I tried to make it clear. But for instance, can online assessment methods, for instance, be used in the process of validating prior learning? I think it's clear.
We use some distance assessment. We use some quite a lot, and nearly that. For in my university, because people are not coming always in my university to have the guidance. They are all over France. So we use the web, the phone, mails, or things like that. And we exchange, in fact, we exchange what they have written. And we read what they do, what the work they do. We study it with the teacher, and we come back to them afterwards. In fact, they have to come in university just for the jury. That's all. Yeah. But if we don't, I think you work on credits, and we work much on a diploma and not on credits. We try not to work on credits in validation, but the whole certification. So that's what I think that's the difference between you and between the project and what we do.
Okay, we had a lady who was in Tokyo, and she prepared accreditation from over there. We never saw her, okay? And she came only for the jury at the end. She had a magnificent memoir, and she was really brilliant. But there is no course. I mean, she had to prepare a memoir. She was linked. She was in contact by email, and it's not like something like teaching. She didn't need any course. She just needed coaching, and so there was nothing online. I mean, no course online. You see what I mean? There was no necessity for it. So perhaps. To have
a French diploma, you need to speak French. That's except. Erasmus Mundus program, and we have got a lot of people outside of France who want a French diploma and they don't speak French. So that's a real problem. So we organize some jury in English, but we try to make the people speak French a little bit. They have to understand what we say anyway. That's the main problem in mobility for people who are engaged in professional life, I think.
Of course, I could add that there could be a second step if we had no. I see. Perhaps the next step would be if she had not validated the whole diploma, if she had only had, I don't know, 75% or 80%, then she would have needed some online courses maybe, but that has not been the case.
Just to say, the main things we ask to people to complete the diploma is more memoir. Yeah, a final memoir is more that than courses, but we use distance learning for that.
So I understand. That is mainly for vocational training? Everything? Okay. So is it possible, because I had the idea of the French system to be different. I thought that you could not award a full certificate based on recognition of prior learning, and I thought it was they could only have part of it. A whole diploma in recognition of prior learning. Okay, that's very nice.